Alright, hello folks, LA here. We got a lot to cover. I'm going to quickly go through it all. Markets up last week, mixed elsewhere. Big losses here to date. Massive reversals on Thursday was the main thing that happened last week. So if we look at this, technically, you can have, this is the situation that exists. You can have a lot of stocks that are going down, right? Yet the sectors and the indexes may not show it. And the reason for that is weighting structures. I've talked about this a lot, but this is the case. And this has been the case, right? We've had a bear market in stocks, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, some case 70. But the mega caps haven't been down much, and the mega caps are the heaviest weighted stocks in these structures, and as a result of that, right, these things have remained fairly bullish. XLK still is bullish, and so has the indexes, even with massive problems. It's changing though, and you can see that positive divergence is changing here. How can you have more stocks going up while price is going down? Well, because a lot of the little stocks are going up. You can also see that if you go do a comparison over some period of time. If I look at it last year and I'm looking at the Qs versus the IWM, 17.5% more outperformance over the last year in the Qs versus the IWM. But if I move down to the last 2 months, IWM doing better. If I go to the last 2 weeks, even better. That tells you that you're starting to see that change, right? Where you're seeing more and more small stocks going up and the big caps not going up nearly as much. Looking at the charts themselves here, you got a big massive reversal on Thursday, big follow through on Friday. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see this come back down and break underneath it again, and I'm talking about the 24th low. If you go and look at it, the hammer reversals, that's the 24th low there. As long as you hold that, this thing's probably going to work higher. If we don't hold that, it's going to be a problem. So that's what I'd be watching. I'd probably be watching on the NDX. That's the key area to focus on. As long as they hold, then this market's going to try and push higher. If it doesn't, well, game off, we go the other way. Or at least we try to. Geopolitical was the big event last week with Ukraine. And it turns out that's probably going to be a big event this week as well, even though the market decided it was a non-event. We'll see if they reprice that or not. That was why we had that huge reversal on Thursday. Got a lot of data this coming week. Beige Book, one of them, Fed speak and payroll numbers. Geopolitical is still going to be flaring up, it looks like. And to me, that just means a lot more volatility is still going to be in these markets as we go forward. Bottom line, hammer reversals, right, that we just talked about. If they retest that 24th low and they break it, then back down again, right? They're going to try to go to lows. If they get down, back and fill and hold, right, then we should get a push back to the top side. Again, the key is going to be geopolitical. That can go either way, but it's going to end up giving a lot more chop. And I'd said last time, the crowd's always right except the turns. This thing's been heading down, right? If this really is a turn, crowd's going to be wrong here. If it's just a bounce and then a continuation, the crowd's going to continue to be right. And usually they're right, except for at the turns. Trading plan, last week got a pretty good bump up in performance because I had said, at some point the buyers are going to show up. Well, they did on Thursday, and that's why we keep invested. We just keep jockeying around in things that are holding up well, and eventually when things do turn, we make some decent money and outperform the market that way. That's my way of doing it. Other people do other things. We all have our style. Right now, it's about managing your trades. I have most of those trades on weekly, monthly time frames, and so once a week, usually before the show, I go through and look at them all and make any changes that need to be made, and that's what I do. And you get that through my private Twitter feed, or you get it on the site. You can get it either place. They both show up automatically, and they show up real time if you're a member. On the site itself, just in case you're new, monitor activity, summary post, you'll see them all here. You can click on any of these. You can see the whole history of the trade as well as where we are right now. Here's some bullish ideas for the coming week. XLK held, as long as it holds this 24th and that swing point low, this should go higher, and so one could trade it that way. XLP, same thing. Came down, did a retest, regen, back up, hammer reversal, basically a pickaxe reversal. And finally, on the bearish side, this was a trade that looked like it would work pretty well as it came back into all these swing point lows it broke. There's a lot of congestion up here, supply. My guess is this will eventually roll back over. How far will it get up? We won't know. If it holds at 24th, it may try and work its way back up into the meat of this. If it doesn't, of course, then the trade is going to continue down. Prognostication last week's pretty much on spot on the close, and that was the most likely, and intra-week worst case, and so I gave a half to each of them. Backing and filling is my expectation for this next week. The black is the expected case. That's where we come down, do a test of that, hold it, and then close back higher into this congestion. Best case could get to these highs, even there dip down into these lows. On the worst case, we just come down, we test, can't hold potentially, and therefore break and either make new lows or get down to those lows. That's it for this week. Have a great one. Stay safe. I'll see you next time. Take care.